going on? It's your man Dante with Sports Numbers and Culture, and we have made it to the free agency tampering period, negotiation period for players outside of your team. Does start at 6 p.m. Eastern, and so I am going to go live tonight so that we can kind of recap some of the moves that have made and some of the moves that have made and some of the moves that are expected, because the way it has been set up now with free agency, the long days of, hey, we are, the complicated moves and everything being done right, and when the bell strikes, it's over. The days of stand up till midnight, which I still remember being up at midnight and seeing everything happen and all the big moves, and all those days are over. Moved it to a more reasonable time. So that's cool. But things are really popping off here. And just to try to jump into it, just recap some of the trades that have made and the things that have happened. Ja Morant's finally been traded. He has been dealt to the Portland Trail Blazers for wing Chris Murray and Jeremy Grant. Kind of almost like a swap of contracts of players that you no longer wanted. That's kind of what happened. No draft picks were exchanged. As far as what I did yesterday on the short, I spoke about the Lakers, possibly losing LeBron James to the Warriors and the Anthony Davis angle. Well, Draymond Green did not pick up his player option. He declined it. And so that gives them the cap space room. Obviously, in the deal, it would need to be to trade for Jimmy Butler, to trade Jimmy Butler's contract, who's still recovering from knee surgery, to the Wizards. They have draft cap for Anthony Davis, so they had the draft capital to kind of grease the wheel, kind of make that deal happen. But basically, it seems like it's more of it could be a negotiation play, because what's happening currently is LeBron wants a new deal, Anthony Davis wants a new deal, and Anthony Davis wants a max. He wants an extension. So if he gets the extension, if they feel the pressure, then the Wizards could simply just bring him back. What I would say is this: if they do the extension and he plays well, and teams are liking what they're seeing, and maybe the deal is maybe like a three-year extension, I could see a team, especially like the Warriors, saying, you know what, we're going to hold on to Jimmy, you rehab, and then maybe you make that move closer to the deadline. Now, LeBron, that's where it gets complicated, because he's still going to go. How that works, not sure. Obviously, the other big development here, Jalen Duren, it's full on. Him and his agent full on going nuclear. It was reported. I thought I saw Chris Haynes and several other, maybe Sam Amick, a couple of reporters reporting that he was going to go to the Kings. He is going to sign a deal with the Kings, do a sign and trade. Obviously, it was rumored that Domantas Sabonis was going to be the key player in there, because he has the big salary. And obviously, the Pistons would still need a center. They did trade away Isaiah Stewart already to clear cap space. But the other part that broke is that actually the Lakers are going to meet with him as well. So he's going to meet with the Kings. He's going to meet with the Lakers. The Pistons are still saying, no, we're not going to do a sign and trade, but it could get real contentious. Walker Kessler is actually going to hold up meetings at his agency office in Los Angeles. Makes it easy for the Lakers to meet with both Jalen Duren and meet with him. So that's been confirmed that those meetings are going to happen, as well as other teams that have interest, I'm sure, in those players, in Walker Kessler, to see what could happen. Jokic Nurkic did sign back with the Jazz on a multi-year deal. But the thing about that is he is a backup, but he's a guy that can start for you in a pinch. You already have front court. You have Triple J. You have him in the lineup. You also have Lauri Markkanen. In my opinion, Lauri Markkanen, I kind of would want him maybe at the 4. At the 3, I'm not sure how well he can keep up with threes, but he's a guy that's more of a 3-4. I would say, hey, I know you don't like it, but if I do lose, and not just speaking as a Laker fan, if I do lose Walker Kessler, I've got to put Jaren Jackson Jr. I got to put him at the 5. Put him at the 5, put Markkanen at the 4. You have other athletic players that you can put in at the 3, like maybe Ace Bailey gets some minutes there. Obviously, Darren Peterson's going to be at the 2. And so that's something that I would look at. But obviously, you want to be overpowered and have Walker Kessler right next to Triple J, and then maybe you start marketing, and you kind of can mesh the lineup how you see fit. As far as how things go, I know that as far as moves the teams are trying to make, the Heat are still, obviously still putting together the deal. They're trying to get the players that they want. They do have a $16.8 million trade exception, but it does expire on July 7th. So that's something, if they're trying to do a move, I'm not sure if that is a part of the deal with Giannis. There's a lot of different things at play that's why they kind of have the moratorium on deals happening, that you can agree to things and things are still being worked out. Like last year, we saw the KD trade get expanded and it ended up being like 4 or 5 teams, a lot of different teams getting something. So that's something I know that Rob Pelinka is obviously looking into as well. As far as the center market, Isaiah Hartenstein did sign an extension to keep him with OKC at a lower number. So that kind of takes him off the table for the centers. Joker, Nikola Jokic did not sign his extension. So that's looming out there to see if which teams are going to still do the old school theory of we're going to hold back. We're not going to do anything, make any moves. We're going to see what he makes a move with and see if we can maybe make a move at the deadline. Or, obviously, guys, big stars are not getting to the free agency market outside of restricted free agency like they did in the 2010s. So that's just not happening. So will they make that move for him if he doesn't sign the extension? That's a big thing in play. But a lot of things there's not a lot of money out here. I would say the Nets were a cap space team, and then they're linked to the trade that they made for Julius Randle. So that takes up some of that cap space. They can still make some moves and be a cap space team. But I would say it's the Lakers, the Bulls, and maybe the Nets. Now, as we saw last year, the Pistons are making cap space moves, but they obviously were trying to link to signing Jalen Duren, and now they're in a position where he might not want to come back, as I mentioned earlier. But we saw last year surprising moves where the Pacers were trying to bring back Miles Turner. There wasn't a lot of cap space teams out there, and then the Bucks, at a last desperate and a foolishly desperate move to make, they stretched and waived the contract of Damian Lillard, and then they signed Miles Turner to a deal. So there are teams that can make those surprising moves and make things like that happen. But the biggest thing is hey, is that worth it? And you never know when it's going to come, and everything's going to start coming. So that's why I'm going live tonight to try to talk about, all the pacing and all the things that are happening. I'm going to try to wait a couple hours for that free agency go, because literally it starts right around the time, people are getting out for work. So I'm going to be watching my phone, seeing what Shams is saying, seeing what Sam Amick is saying, seeing Chris B. Haynes, seeing all the different reporters and seeing what they're doing, so we can talk about it here on Sports Numbers and Culture. But the main thing I want to touch on is this. There's a lot of silence going on with the Lakers and what's going on. There's a lot of silence with the Lakers going on, but there's a lot of noise of what's going on with Kawhi Leonard in LA. So Kawhi Leonard, it all but seems like he's going to get traded to the Raptors. That's the only team he decided to sign an extension with. The Clippers, as much as they love Kawhi, they are trying to reset things. They have their youth movement with the number 5 pick that they got. Also, the young players that they've been trying to develop on their team, and this is the year that they were saying to clear the cap space, clear the books. They've gotten rid of Paul George, and so now it looks like they're going young and they're going to restart, and they have cap space. I think they still owe OKC one more pick, but they don't want to do the extension that Kawhi is comfortable with, and Kawhi wants to leave. He's only going to go to the Raptors, so it looks like it's a deal with Grady Dick and Brandon Ingram linked to being that. Obviously, I would assume a draft pick. But Kawhi Leonard and Scotty Barnes, that's going to be crazy. And as I've been predicting and been saying, not only does the Eastern Conference have the defending NBA champions in the New York Knicks, but they're going to get Tyrese Halliburton back healthy. So you have the Pacers coming back and getting into the playoff race. You're also going to have the Celtics. I mean, they're kind of in flux, but I still see that I just don't see them playing a player as good as Jaylen Brown. They're probably going to make a move for a center. You're going to have the Hawks, the young Hawks that are, still making plays and have a good team. You got the young Magic. That they could be something. The Cavaliers are still obviously have pieces, so they're still trying to get their team together and have some and make some moves. And so it's a lot of different teams that you can look out and say, hey, obviously the Pistons, number 1 seed, and they still have an All-NBA player in Cade Cunningham, first team All-NBA, might I add. And so it's just something. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I think he was second team. Let me scratch that. But so you got a lot of teams that's looking to push at the top of the conference. The Hornets are frisky. They're trying to make some moves. I don't really just love LaMelo Ball, but I guess they have a plan to be more defensive focused. And so there's a lot of teams there that the years of saying that, especially with the new anti-tanking rules, the years of, hey, the East is a dump, it's a dump, it's a dump. These guys are easy wins. I'm really interested to see how things continue to progress because I see some room for progress. And if the Raptors can get a Kawhi Leonard, that obviously is going to put them back at the top. But another move is, quickly before I finish up here, the Raptors. I mean, not the Raptors, the Rockets. The Rockets are linked to Marcus Smart, and also Fred VanVleet opted into his deal, which waives his no trade clause. He did wipe a lot of stuff off of, I saw reported that he wiped the Rockets off of his Instagram, any reference of them. A lot of times that means the player is either unhappy or player's on his way out. So that's something to obviously look into. Obviously with Marcus Smart being heavily linked, no tampering, of course, to go to the Rockets, just like Dorian Finney-Smith went last year. I'm hoping, as a Lakers fan, the Lakers do match that deal, but and give him a reasonable contract, a good contract, because that guy is a point of attack defender, secondary ball handler, and just a leader in the locker room, from all the reports that have been said. And I would really love to keep him as a Laker. So that's a move. But the Lakers are quiet. They're up to something. The Clippers are trying to make moves and move out for Kawhi and whatever other moves that they make. So it's going to be interesting to see. But check in tonight. I'm going live tonight. Check in with me. Check in on the Facebook group for updates of when I'm going live. You can go to it's on Facebook, Sports Numbers and Culture. You'll see the group there. It's an open public group. But I'm really looking forward to everybody and coming into the comments. So tell a friend to tell a friend. Like, share, subscribe. But it's your man Dante with Sports Numbers and Culture. Out.